Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to a special edition of Mic Drop. This week, we've got one of our fine strategists here, Steve Ott, to help me explain why AdWords Express is the worst thing in the world.
It's good to be here, Mike.
I'm glad to have you. So, AdWords Express is something we see clients coming to us from. They use it because it's Google's product that makes it super simple for an advertiser to get on Google. But for many reasons, you're not really getting on Google with the most as efficient as you can, and really I find, and you probably agree, that it's basically just spending money. You're just giving money to Google, and they are running ads, but they're not going to accomplish much.
Oh yeah, and they'll take that money and they'll put the ads up, but you really won't know what's actually happening because the data you get back is just so limited.
Yeah, no transparency. So let's hit it. Point number one, Steve, take it away.
Well, there's just no keywords are actually needed for AdWords Express, and this is great if you just want to kind of believe what Google's doing for you is going to be the best for your advertising. But it'll take the categorical data from Google My Business, and it'll just apply that and say, oh, I think your business does this, but if you're not actually going in there and inputting the keywords yourself, you don't know what it's going to choose next time for every single search query.
Exactly. So you have no clarity in the keywords, and the keywords that they are matching you on, you have no ability to select what kind of match type you're using. So if you're familiar with AdWords, there's the broad match, modified broad, phrase, and exact. And broad match is a match that most advertisers worth their salt will completely avoid because it kind of opens up your keywords to matching on everything, synonyms, misspellings, vaguely related keywords. And so a lot of what we do on the agency side is managing those matches, looking at the keywords that are actually firing our ads, and negative matching out ones that aren't relevant to what we're doing, that were kind of brought in by our modified broad. So when you have broad match, now you're bringing all sorts of garbage and you're matching on anything that Google thinks could be possibly relevant. And as Steve said, it's based, the keywords that they're bidding on are based off of what they think your business is instead of what you're telling them your business is via the keywords you enter in AdWords. So broad match, very, very bad.
Another thing that AdWords Express doesn't include are the ad extensions, and they'll have like maybe a call extension here or there with your phone number, but generally there's way less extensions, and the extensions are really important when it comes to determining where your ad's going to rank, because the formula that Google uses to decide what order the ads appear in and how much you pay for the spot that your ad eventually gets in the position on search is determined by ad rank, and ad extensions are a big part of adding to the quality score of that ad rank. So if you don't have the ad extensions running, then your ad's just not going to be able to rank as high as an ad with extensions. And a lot of those extensions, again, are only available in the complete AdWords experience. So your click-through rates are going to be a lot lower, being lower on the page. Your cost per clicks are going to have to be higher if the ads will be in some of those higher positions.
Exactly. And also, when you have more ad extensions, you're taking up more of the search engine real estate page,
Yes.
correct? Yes. And so you always want to do that because the more real estate you take over, the further down you're going to push your competitors. Yep. So that's good.
You're locked out of the promotion extensions. You're locked out of snippets. You're locked out of definitely site links. I believe call it extensions.
So basically,
you might have locations, but it's not going to show them as often as you would if you had more extensions, because Google has more choices to pick from.
Yeah, it's essentially your text ad has been warped back to like 1997 when Google had a very basic type of text.
That's the way to think about it.
That's why I'm here. I would like to take a brief pause to say hello to my wife, who's decided to join. Hey, Megan. Another thing that you don't get when you're running AdWords Express is control over your budget. So on the advertiser side in AdWords, we can set daily budgets, we can set campaign budgets, we can set overall budgets, just to make sure we're controlling our spend to the best of our abilities. With AdWords Express, you simply give them the number you want to spend per day. And that's it. It's over. You're just Google's going to take that money and it's going to spend it, as we've already shown you, on whatever keywords it wants, showing whatever ad it wants, and then when it spends that money, it turns it off. And that's not a lot of control right there. And so we like to have as much control over what Google's doing as possible. And it really starts with the budget, because the budget is what all of our media plans are based off of. And it's our clients' money. And so we want to make sure we're spending it in our best of our abilities. Steve?
And you're locked out of all the bid strategies too with that.
Yes.
Because without being able to choose the way you want the ads to be delivered, you just have to kind of go with the automatic stuff that AdWords Express has in store for you, which is unpredictable and probably not aligned with the business strategy.
All right. Hopefully you guys are getting the feeling AdWords Express is the worst. But if you haven't figured it out yet, we have 2 more points. Steve, hit me with number 5.
Number 5 would be you have no control over the placements that you will show up on. So there are 2 different types of search engine placements. You'll either show up on Google search page, the search engine results page, and that's where everyone expects their ads to be on all the time. But there's actually another option, which are search partner websites. And these are a little bit more elusive because Google doesn't publish a list of exactly what all these search partner websites are. So there's hundreds of websites that include things you might have heard of, like ask.com, WebMD, but then a few more that are a little further out there, like there's Catholic Search, what.com was one of them for a while, and there's stuff that like you wouldn't expect people to be using, but they're using it, and they're searching for things, and they're clicking on ads, and it's not great in terms of like figuring out the users on those websites. And another big part about the search partners is they behave a little bit differently in terms of Google's algorithms. So the behavior in terms of where your ad's going to rank, what extensions will be shown, what the actual ad will look like, and the quality, and therefore the click-through rate will be different than what you'd expect on Google.
So the theme, little to no control. And to finalize it, when you're running in Google AdWords Express, you're running paid search ads, but Google can also run your ads in their display network. And combining paid search and display is something as an advertiser we never want to do, because display and paid search perform in 2 entirely different ways. We always want to establish budgets for each. We want to change our messaging for each, because display, the goal is to drive brand awareness, whereas paid search is to be there when somebody is raising their hand, is saying they're interested in what you're offering by their keyword searches. And so when you combine those 2 and you let Google decide whether it's going to show display or search, you're not getting that control. You don't know where your ads are going to show up. You don't know what message is going to hit these people. And so it's just not the ideal way to serve either of those 2. And combining both, it actually was back when I started doing Google ads way back in the Stone Age. You used to not be able to separate paid search and display, and we as advertisers complained, and Google finally allowed us to split them apart. And ever since then, we've always had search and display in 2 different brackets.
What I've read in the advertising history books from that time was that the display advertising would often eat up the biggest portion of your budget because there's so much more demand for display ads than
exactly.
search ads.
Yeah. So a paid search is a medium where they're coming to us, and so the universe is limited by the amount of people who are out there searching for our specific terms. Whereas in display, it's any site on the internet that has ad space, billions upon billions of impressions every day. So that inventory is not limited whatsoever. So Google, of course, has no problem spending your money there. But you, at the end of the day, won't be able to tell because the reporting system in Express is so bad that you can't see this sort of data. And so at the end of the day, I'm always happy to have an AdWords Express client come to us, and I can show them the error of their ways, show them all the great things that we can do, and see immediate improvements in their results. Did you have anything to add, Steve, before we drop this?
I think you summed it up quite nicely, Mike.
All right, then there's only one thing to say. Mic dropped. And then awkwardly ended.